it usually kind of stays together and everyone puts their weaker guy there. So that's what we did. And then all the other countries decided to put their strongest guy there. So I was standing there.
So the plan was to try to get a gap early for the other countries.
Yeah. And then, so the women were coming in, and I was standing around. The women were on the run about to tag us off, and like I was standing there with Brownlee, Vincent Louis, just like the strongest guys in triathlon at the moment. And I was kind
Please tell me you told them bring it on before you left, right?
No, I was just freaking out.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Coaches on Couches.
Being slouches with a very non-slouch.
Probably our least slouchy person.
Despite him slouching in the couch right now.
We've got Seth Rider on the couch today. We'll get to him in a moment. I am Coach Dale Sanford.
I am Coach Bryant Funston.
We are co-founders of BPC Performance Coaching, where we specialize in helping time-crunch athletes optimize their busy schedules so they can maximize their athletic performance. Every BPC coach is trained in our 5 pillars coaching system that's been developed over the last decade. Through our work with athletes of all ages and ability levels, from fresh off the couch to world championship competitors. You can find out more about BPC by going to buildpeakcompete.com, checking Facebook and YouTube at BuildPeakCompete, or Instagram at BPC Performance.
Dale, you're nailing that, man.
I'm
Pretty soon
killing it.
You're not going to have to read that.
I know.
Pretty soon.
It's sounding pretty
It's
good,
getting
though.
close.
We'll flow. We'll flow to it.
It's getting close.
All right. So, before we get to Seth, shout-outs.
Shout-out time. I got a shout-out. Lee Rustin. She signed up to go race in Birmingham, crit on
the
Saturday.
Hammerfest, yeah.
The Hammerfest, yeah. And due to, I believe it was because of the giant storm that happened, a lot of the D1 teams that were going to be there couldn't make it. So smaller field size, they combined the 1, 2, 3 women with all the D1 elite women. So she, as a Cat 3, was lining up in a very stacked field for the first time and did well. She said it's the most fun has had thus far in her racing career, racing with them and being part of that whole atmosphere. So shout out to her.
All right. Mine is just shout out to the weekday Hammerfest.
Yeah.
It's time changed, and all of the weekday group rides are back on. I forgot how much I missed that ride.
And we've been talking about trying to get Seth, we're like, next time he comes to town, we got to get him on the couch.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we see him show up to the Hammerfest this week. It's like, yeah, perfect opportunity.
Perfect.
So here we go.
You got any shout-outs?
Shout out David Boyd. That's about it. No,
David Boyd.
not too many specific reasons, but shout out to D.
David,
Boyd.
He was begging for it. wasn't
He was
requested the
just
shout-out, man.
requested the shout out, and he gets it.
You complied.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right, so before we get to Seth, we have a little bit of business to tend to. We've got our free entries for Memphis in May to give away. So here we go. If you're, you don't have to be present to win, but
I say you do.
we'll send the information to you via Facebook Messenger. So for the sprint distance, we've got Joey Cunningham.
Attaboy, Joey.
And
First ever. He said first ever try.
Yeah. So now you have no excuse
No excuse.
not to do your first triathlon. And then for the Olympic, we've got Christy Goldrick.
All right, Chris.
Christy's taking home the free entry for the Olympic. So watch your Facebook Messenger, and we'll get that
Now, both
info.
of you that got a free entry, your goal is to bring one new person to the race.
Absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely.
Cool.
We gotta keep this sport growing.
For sure.
All right. So Seth Rider, hometown hero, Germantown, Tennessee. Battling it out with the best in the world these days. So Funston, break down a little bit of so Seth doesn't have to brag on himself here.
Yeah, I mean, Seth, how many times did you win the kids' try at St. George's?
I think you're allowed to do it from 7 until 15, maybe. So quick
of
math.
those?
8.
So you know that,
So of all your highlights, we know that's number one.
Yeah, definitely.
You know that meme that that goes around where it's like the kid at the start line of a race with like a skin suit, and an aero helmet, and like deep dish wheels, and everybody else is on like kids bikes.
That was definitely.
I'm pretty sure that's Seth.
Yeah,
Oh, it was. I remember being out there for one.
I had a guru.
He was ripping it. He was out there ripping it too.
Yeah.
There's like kids on like cruising. He's swerving all around them. Oh man, it was awesome.
Hilarious, man.
But besides that, so he took that early on success, and has now been racing across the globe. It's been really awesome to see your growth as an athlete. Last year, breaking down a few your great results, a few top tens. Chengdu, did I say that right?
Yeah.
ITU Triathlon World Cup, 10th overall in the finals. Then we had Antwerp, 6th overall. Huge result. We're talking in the world here, crew.
This is not a national or regional event. This
was not GPAC Hammerfest. He did not at Tuesday Worlds ride. It was not. And the last one that we were going to mention, I guess there was two. Edmonton mixed relay. You guys were 2nd overall, which was obviously a great result.
It's a really cool event.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one I'm missing here? Is it this one? Tongyong?
Yeah, that was a pretty solid race.
Also just barely outside the top 10. So a lot of huge results on the world scene.
Yeah.
Where we've been seeing him. We were just talking before we went live, watching Seth on TV. It's always cool when you get to watch people on TV that you used to race against.
I tend to yell at the TV more when you kind of know somebody. That's
each time he was pulling through, we're like, "Hey, stop working on the bike!"
I did the same thing when Johnny Brown won the national championships.
Awesome.
I
was glued to the
screaming
screen
at the TV. But yeah,
I was up super early, like somewhere else in the world. I think I was maybe in Europe or somewhere. And watching him do that was awesome
for sure. So like, give us a little breakdown on like how you got into triathlon. Can you have a little bit of a interesting story about getting into it and how early you kind of specialized in triathlon?
Yeah.
So like how you got in and like what hooked you, because kids these days tend to not like be so passionate about a sport like this so early on.
Yeah. Well, my dad did triathlons basically, I don't know when he started, but from when he was pretty young, I think mid-20s, my dad was racing triathlons. And then I have two older brothers, like 3 and 5 years older than me. So when I was probably as early as I can remember, I remember going to Iron Kids races and watching them race and stuff like that. So, I mean, as like the youngest sibling, you just want to be like your older brothers. So as soon as I was old enough to race, so like 6, 7, I was old enough to race these Iron Kids races. And yeah, like that's basically how I got to start. I just went right into it when I was 7. And then, I mean, I was always doing other sports. Like I played lacrosse pretty seriously, and then some like basketball. I mean, all the normal sports.
Yeah.
I never played football.
You're more mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team sports.
Yep.
And I played those, but I was just like, I always came back to triathlon, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just got the bug, bit by the bug. And
did you just enjoy it more, or did you just a lot of times it's like you get into sports and then you tend to like gravitate toward the one where you have like the most success, obviously.
Around here, I was better than most other 7-year-olds, but that's not that big of an accomplishment. So like, it's not like I was drastically better at triathlon when I was younger than I was at lacrosse or something.
Yeah.
But,
so at what age did you start kind of going outside of the Memphis area?
I mean, even from like, just because of my older brothers, when I was like 7, 8, 9, they were going to nationals, Iron Kids nationals and stuff.
Okay, nice.
So like we were going for them because they were a bit older, a bit more competitive. But I would just tag along and race as well, like the young age groups. But
yeah,
then it was just totally fun. Like I just really enjoyed it, and yeah, it was awesome. I just wanted to be like my older brothers.
And who would you say, are you the top of the brothers now?
Yeah, I think so.
You're like, the brothers aren't on the couch, right, Brian? That's an easy question to answer. So at what point did you like do you remember like the first time you beat them at the same race?
I don't think they stopped racing before we ever actually raced together.
Gotcha.
Because like, and all that stuff, it's a
good strategy.
Yeah.
Before you get beat, just stop racing.
But I remember with my dad, that was the big one, because like once I was a bit older, like I don't know, 12, 13, I stopped doing kids races. And like I still did kids races at nationals and stuff, but I did like age group sprint races, Memphis and May and that kind of stuff. And I remember like the first time that I beat my dad was Memphis and May, because we were like getting, when I first started, he was pretty strong.
Yeah.
And he was like
Walt's
crushing.
Been a very he's been a
shout out
elite
to
guy
Walt,
in the Memphis
he's
scene
been
for a
crushing it
long time.
Yeah, and then so like he was crushing me when I was younger, and then every year I would get closer and closer and closer. And Memphis and May was always the race that we would battle at in the sprint distance race. And eventually down in Tunica I got on one year.
Nice.
And it was
At
close.
what age? What age do you remember?
I think I was maybe like 14 or 15, but it was close. Like it came down to just maybe like 30 or 40 seconds.
Nice.
I think I remember.
Did you like on the ride home
year.
say the student has become a teacher?
I don't think so.
No. You're too
I definitely
too humble for that.
We had a bet going that included some sort of food reward.
Those are always the best.
Yeah.
So you're so obviously like in the draft legal and ITU, you're doing mostly sprint distance races. With like a couple of the a standard distance mixed in.
Yeah.
So like but with that, with it being shorter, like I guess we'll talk a little bit about that mixed relay platform, because it's really kind of gaining in popularity.
Yeah.
And now that it's in the Olympics as well, last year in Edmonton you got to go and do it, and you guys placed second.
Yeah.
Tell a little bit about the mixed relay platform and kind of your experience in doing that.
Yeah, some have probably never heard of it.
Yeah. So basically, whenever I tell someone I do the mixed relay, like even like you said, you're like, oh, what'd you do? Swim, bike, or run? And that's like the only sort of triathlon relay that people know. But the mixed relay is totally different. So it starts out with, you have 2 girls, 2 guys on the team, and it goes girl, guy, and each person does a super sprint triathlon, and then you just tag off after your leg. So the distances are like, it really depends, but it's usually 300 swim, and then like maybe 3.5, 4 miles on the bike.
It's like 6K.
Yeah,
It's just
6K.
It's just painful.
Yeah.
And then a mile on the run. So it's just like, maybe like less than 20 minutes, full gas from the start, like full sprinting through transition.
Yeah, because your time was under 19. It was 19 something. I was just looking at the results.
Like it's just full gas from the start until you tag off.
It's pain.
And like, you always push yourself that extra bit, because you're racing for the team.
Oh, exactly.
So like, it's. And
you
I
don't want to let others down, so you dig that little.
Yeah. And I've been doing mixed relay for a long time, but not a lot in the year. Like, they had it at Junior Elite Nationals every year. So you race, like, I was on like the Southeast Regional Junior team.
Okay.
And we had the mixed team relay the day after the individual there from when I was like, I think I did the first one when I was 14 or 15.
Oh, wow.
And then we did it like all through my junior years, but only just like one a year at nationals. And then now, since it got into the Olympics, they're having a lot more. So they have them at like a lot of the WTS races will have a mixed relay like the day after, like you saw in Abu Dhabi a few weeks ago.
So from like an excitement level, from fans, obviously that'd be a lot more fan friendly than something like Ironman, where people are going out for 100+ miles.
And
So do you feel that, like, being there, is there more excitement surrounding that?
Yeah, it's awesome because like I think it's just so much more exciting than even a sprint distance race, ITU race. They're pretty exciting to watch. It's only an hour long, like 50 minutes long for the men, and like you're doing loops, so like you never go more than 5 minutes without seeing them go by in a sprint distance race. But I don't know, it's kind of predictable what's going to happen. You can like it's going to be a group on the bike, but in the relay, like each relay, as far as like the World Series relays go, it goes totally different. Like sometimes the first women's leg, they kind of all stay together, and there's like a big group starting the second leg for like the first men's leg, and then other races it just gets like blown apart, and it's just groups of 1 and 2. So like it really, you never know what's going to happen. And you watch for 80 minutes and you see 4 people do a triathlon. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Is that the? I've kind of started following the Major League Triathlon stuff. Is it similar? Is that like a similar team event? Like, is it like a
Yeah,
mixed
it's
relay?
exactly the same. So it's just a series of mixed team relays in the U.S.
Yeah.
And they have like 4 or 5 races. And usually they'll have a super sprint individual in the morning and then the mixed relay in the afternoon. And you kind of race for like your team that you get selected on at the beginning of the year. So they kind of select the teams based on like training groups. Like last year, my coach, like our group, we had a team, San Diego Stingrays, and we were
Shout out.
yeah, shout out. Go Stingrays. we were
hand signal and everything.
yeah. So yeah, MLT was really fun last year, and yeah, just to provide, because there's not a ton of opportunities to race mixed relay, so they added like 5 races. There are more opportunities to do mixed relay, which is good because like also USA Triathlon is using that as a way of seeing who they're going to select for the World Series mixed team relays and ultimately who they're going to select for the Olympic mixed team relay.
Absolutely. Very cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
Well, we've been kind of stalking you, so to speak, on Strava, over the last several years, and you're pretty much all over the place as far as of location, your geolocation.
Yeah.
So, like, where are you doing most of your training these days?
Yeah, I mean, really, like, it just changes so much. So, like, really just traveling around based on where my next race is and where our squad is based. So I'm almost always training with my coach and all the other athletes that he coaches. So we all train together in like a daily training environment, which is awesome. Like, just makes doing the hard work so much easier.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
like swimming, like here when I'm here for 3 weeks, swimming by myself every day is just brutal. But like there, the swims go by faster and like really good people to train with and just a good
That group
environment. Yeah, it's awesome.
So will you guys be on similar training plans?
Yeah, we're almost all
So same
on the
workout, same
training.
day kind of
Yeah,
thing?
we're all, I mean, we pretty much do everything as a group. I mean, we're all ITU athletes
Yeah.
and we're all doing like more or less kind of the same race schedule.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can do pretty much everything together. Sometimes like bike workouts, run workouts get split up into a couple groups, but
Yeah.
we're all doing the same thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's not like when you show up for a group ride and it's going to be your easy day and then someone else has a different plan and they go
No,
full gas and
yeah.
now you're going full gas?
No, everything is totally planned by our coach.
Okay.
So like, and like even our easy stuff, a lot of the times we just go like by ourselves or with one other person or 2 other
Okay.
people just to like keep it
Have
easy.
some company too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we've kind of seen you in Spain.
yeah, a lot of time in Spain.
Okay.
Yeah,
And like off the coast of Africa, Spain.
Yeah.
yeah, like the
Which
Canary,
talk a little about this. Yeah, there's different islands there. If you haven't seen it, you'll have to
Yeah,
go to them on
Canary.
Strava.
They're called the Canary Islands. So it's like down on the western side of Africa, a little bit south, like off the coast of Western Sahara, and just like this chain of islands down there. I think made up of like 4 or 5 islands, and really popular for endurance athletes to go during the winter. It's like super easy and super cheap to get there from Europe. Like they have flights there for like $20. It's just crazy because it's
What?
like huge tourist destination.
Oh, wow.
So it's really easy to get there from Europe. And you just, go there and they built all these sports resorts there. So basically, I don't know who builds them, but there's just these resorts that have 50-meter pools, tracks,
really?
like everything. And you live there, like buffets that are oriented for like athletes. It's like pretty
So
good
crazy.
food. So
And you're saying like different islands are for like the different disciplines, right?
yeah, like not super strictly,
Uh-huh.
but like pretty much. Like the one that I was on in January, I was training in Fuerteventura.
Which
And
is
that-
the moon, apparently.
It
Looking
looks-
at the pictures.
Yeah, it looks
it's the
like
moon.
Mars.
Yeah.
It's just like no
Yeah, Mars.
trees, like red dirt. It was pretty crazy, super windy. That's like the only negative about training there is the wind is so windy.
Brutal.
Like, and we were on one end, like we were at the top of the island, so you couldn't ride that way, obviously, because it's just the ocean.
Yeah.
And the wind was always the same direction. And like we could only ride one way. I mean, there were multiple roads, but like general direction we had to go. I think like north or something.
Yeah.
And then always on the way back, headwind. Like no matter how long we rode, like we'd ride 4 hours, and no matter what, the last 2 hours, headwind.
Brutal headwind.
Yeah, so like our island was mainly ITU athletes, and then Lanzarote, which is the next island, we could actually see it from where we were, just like 4 or 5 miles off the coast, and that one is like tons of long distance athletes train there. And then the other islands which aren't super close, it's still part of the chain, but it's over there a little bit, and that's Teed and Tenerife, and that's where all the cyclists go. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
yeah.
You have to look up, make a trip out there sometime.
Yeah,
I like it.
The riding is awesome. The cars are really respectful to cyclists, and all of Spain is like that. And so many roads, awesome climbs, just really nice place to train.
That's awesome. So like you base where you're at essentially around where you're going to be racing. How long do you go like in advance before a race?
Like I'm not going to where I'm actually racing, but just
Okay.
kind of like that general part of the world,
Yeah.
I guess. So like, I mean, yeah, January we trained in Spain because our group is based in Europe, mainly Europeans now.
Yeah.
So we were just training there because it's really easy to get to. And then my first race was so like that wasn't really close to where we were racing. But like, for example, now my next race is in Madrid
Okay.
in the beginning of May.
Yep.
So in a couple weeks, I'll go to Portugal. And we have like a training base there that we're using in like southern Portugal. And so I'll train there for like a month. I'm not racing in Portugal, but I'm racing in Madrid. So it's like
Yeah.
just
right
like
there.
a short flight away.
Yeah.
And then pretty much just probably staying there throughout the summer because like racing in Europe all the time and through like May and June. And then it's just so much easier to stay in Europe. And
Yeah.
then, but yeah, like,
So like when you went to China, how long were you?
I was only
Is that
there
like
for
fly
like,
in, do your
yeah, if
race,
you
and get
go,
out?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, you got to go a week in advance because of jet lag. So like, got there like maybe 6 days before and then left as soon as possible after the race. Because
Pollution
Yeah.
issues or anything like that? Or?
not really, but like, because we weren't in like a super big city.
Okay.
But if we were in Beijing, yeah.
Yeah.
But just
Did you
training wise, food wise, it's just hard to manage.
Which we'll probably want to dive into a little bit here. That's got to be
We'll
a
get there.
challenging part. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
sure.
We'll kind of stick to our flow here so we
Yeah.
don't get all over the place.
So just since we're talking training a little bit, just to compare to give something for an average amateur to compare to, about how many hours of training are you doing each week?
Yeah, not like a ton, but if I'm not racing any like in the next weekend or something, just like a normal training week. Like for example, like when I was this week or back in January when I was training for my first race of the year, probably like 28, 30-ish hours a week.
So not much. Just like a full-time job, right?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels a lot like a full-time job sometimes.
And a peak volume would be what? That's peak volume? Or?
Yeah, that we don't really. Our training stays pretty consistent, so
yeah.
we don't.
Shorter course stuff.
Yeah, we don't really like.
Change the load via intensity versus adding a bunch more.
Yeah, I mean the load, as far as like volume goes, it stays more or less the same, 28-ish hours a week,
Yeah.
and then kind of the intensity and that will change throughout the
So
season.
with that, so 28 to 30 hours, how many workouts, like actual workouts are you doing?
Two. I mean, like workouts as in each individual session.
Yeah,
Or
like, are you
hard
doing,
workouts?
no, like run bike one day.
Yeah, like at probably 3 a day at least.
wow.
I mean, yeah, almost always 3 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be like double run and a swim, or I mean, obviously lots of days are just swim, bike, run.
Yeah.
And then a lot of like 2 times a week I'll have probably 4 because I add in like a gym session.
Okay.
So swim, bike, run, gym or
Because
something.
squats build watts?
Yeah.
Squats, Bill.
Squats build watts. I haven't
Uh-huh.
done that one.
Seth did tell us he got under the old barbell last
Yeah.
night. It's
Yeah.
been a few weeks. He's like, I'm really happy we're sitting on the couch today.
Yeah, feeling it.
So how many times, this is something that I know some folks are wondering about, how many times do you like run off the bike versus doing like a structured like brick style session?
Yeah, I don't really do bricks. I don't run off the bike in training,
You
which
heard it first.
might be like pretty surprising. But
It's not surprising.
I mean, when I show up to run workouts, I feel like I run off the bike. I mean, when I train as much as we do, like, you'd never go into a run feeling fresh.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always tired. And yeah, yeah. I used to run off the bike with my previous coach, but I mean, and when I'm racing a lot, I feel like it's just unnecessary. And running off the bike, those brick workouts, I just find that they make me really tired. And
Yeah.
they take away from what I'll be able to do the next day. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's that accumulation of fatigue. You know, if you're actually doing, hard sessions on the bike and everything else, you're going to have so much accumulated fatigue that your run workouts are going to feel like you just got off the bike.
Yeah, because the point is to simulate that, right? You want the feeling.
Yeah.
So if you're getting that feeling already, there's no
Yeah.
reason to compound that
Yeah.
that fatigue. Give you the
Exactly.
rest so you can get the quality.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, like, we know you started in triathlon really early, as a kid, and getting onto the junior elite regional team.
Yeah.
So kind of explain how the whole development pathway, elite development pathway works. In case somebody's wondering, how would I get my kid in that, or somebody who's listening is saying, this is a dream of mine, but I have no idea
To sit
how
on
to
the
get
couch
into
or-
to get on this couch. It's part of the elite development pathway.
Yeah.
But just explain how that kind of works.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess triathlon is kind of maybe not a new sport, but we don't really have a development pathway that is the same for everyone. I feel like in bigger sports, maybe everyone kind of goes the same route, like high school sports, NCAA sports, pro sports. There's a very clear path to take. But in triathlon, if you talk to any elite triathlete, they probably had a different way into the sport and different way how they got there. But for me, I mean, yeah, the junior elite path, there is a pathway that you can take that's all through triathlon, but a lot of times the best junior elite triathletes in the US, they're also, I mean, you're basically going to be running as one of the best runners in your high school cross country team if you're running cross country. So in the end, lots of our junior triathletes, we lose them to collegiate running and then don't really get them back a lot of the times after that. But USAT, they've tried a few times in the past and it wasn't really working, but this time I think they have a really good program that they set up at ASU in Arizona.
Okay.
And they're it's basically a supported program by ASU and USA Triathlon to take high school, the top junior elite triathletes right out of high school and then give them somewhere to go to college and still train like a pro.
Because that would be the decision they have to make, right?
Yeah,
do I
everyone-
try to make it as a pro, or do I go to college, still compete?
And I mean, I'm one of the few people that got to the senior year of high school and was like, all right, I'm just going to try to go pro.
Just go all
make
in,
make it as a pro, which is one of the few people in the US, but every other country in the world, that's just what everyone does.
That's the norm, huh?
Yeah. But before that, it is a pretty clear pathway. I mean, if you do youth triathlons when you're younger, and then once you turn 13, 14, you can do youth elite, which is the first time that you start doing draft legal racing. And then when you're 16, you start to do junior elite races. And there's a series of those by USA Triathlon. There's 4 or 5 races around the country. So yeah, you basically just do those races, and then from those races you can qualify to go to international races like the Pan American Championships or the World Championships. And then those races would be supported by USAT.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if you had to go back, kind of stay on this topic briefly, if you had to go back, would you change the path that you took? Are there certain things you would mix up, or are you pretty happy with the way?
I'm pretty happy that I decided to just go.
Yeah.
I mean, I did go to college for 1 year after high school at Queen's University in Charlotte. But then I knew pretty quickly into my first semester there that I was probably not going to go back for a second year.
Gotcha.
Just because, I mean, I wasn't able to really do as well in school as I was hoping to, because I was trying to train like a full-time pro and trying to go to school like a full-time student, and it wasn't really working that well. So, and I didn't want both of them to suffer.
Yeah.
So I just decided to go all in triathlon, and I'm pretty happy with that decision.
Excellent.
seems to be working out for you
Yeah, definitely.
so far. Yeah, I mean, there's, this topic comes up every so often, and it's like, okay, you're an elite level amateur, like, what are your options as far as like turning pro and like what directions you can go? And you can get a pro card and then like go and do, non-drafting races and then try to go and basically everybody ends up doing long course and stuff like that. But, it seems far less common that people get to that high level and then decide, okay, I'm going to go pro, but I'm going to go to draft legal. Because I don't think it's as obvious like that there's that's an option or that's a pathway for a lot of younger athletes.
Yeah, like unless you're already into draft legal racing when you're younger, youth elite, junior elite kind of thing. Like if you're not doing draft legal racing when you're 16 or 17 years old, and maybe you're mid-20s and you want to become a pro, it's pretty hard to get your foot in the door of draft legal racing because, there's not that many options for draft legal racing that aren't pro and aren't junior. Like in between those two, there's not really anything that you can do. Like you're either racing junior draft legal or you're racing elite draft legal.
Yeah, I've been like trying to like lobby race directors for years to bring out like to do an amateur draft legal
especially because now the sprint worlds is draft legal.
It's draft legal.
And there's like it's still really hard to find draft legal races in the US.
Yeah, and like, for you too, like growing up, you were at all the local crits and learning like those skills, like the skill set for riding a pack.
And that comes in, like, it helps so much in ITU racing. Like, I'm one of the few people that grew up racing bikes like that. And it really shows. Like, most of these races now, you're coming into T2 in a group of like 30 guys, 40 guys. And when you come in T2 and it's only like 2 or 3 people wide and you dismount at the back, you're like 30 seconds behind by the time you get out of T2. So like getting to the front,
it's like race over.
Getting to the front for T2, I would compare it to like getting to the front for the last K of a bike race, or like getting to the front before you hit the last climb or something. Like it's like a huge fight.
Pace accelerates.
Like people have lead out trains for getting to T2 in certain races. And like if you have a domestique, like part of the domestique's job would be to get you to T2 first. And it's like a race.
That is awesome.
To the dismount line, which is pretty crazy.
That's the kind of stuff that even on the coverage of the
definitely miss.
You don't see it.
Yeah, you totally miss that. But
you see like the last 10 seconds before everybody dismounts.
Yeah, you get like, it really feels like a lead out train. Like you have people yelling like, block the left, like move right, and like these whole trains of people and like people yelling, and that's when all the crashes happen.
So by having a domestique, would that be like, is this someone that you like train with, that you're friends with? Is this like based on
usually if you have it depends on what the race is. So like I've done some club racing like in France and Germany, and then you're racing for a club, so you're not like, so like they can have people there just to be a domestique.
Gotcha.
And like maybe 3 people score and then 2 other guys are there just to make sure everyone makes the front group.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then like in those races, most people will have domestiques to help them get to the front. And then like
that is awesome.
ITU races, like WTS and World Cups, mainly it's like, it's not super common, but some races like the Federation, USA Triathlon, whatever national federation will appoint a domestique for a certain athlete. Usually it's a runner that is not really good at swimming. So they pick a domestique that's just really good on the bike
to help them
get to the front after the swim.
Gotcha.
And then like in Gold Coast, I had a domestique, and I don't know why.
That's awesome.
And I ended up not having a great race, but basically his job was just try to create a breakaway. And like, cause I wanted to.
With you in it? Or?
With me in it, yeah. So, cause I'm like, swim bike is definitely.
Strong swim.
Yeah, my strength. So we wanted to get a group away and like keep it away and get a gap as big as possible. And he's a really good swimmer, way better than me, and really strong on the bike. And he led the swim, like pace changes to make it split up a little bit. And like the swim was really fast in that race. And then he did it perfectly. Anytime like someone didn't want to go to the front or someone wanted to skip a pole, he would just go to the front and keep the pace up. And like if you do it right, it actually helps a lot. And we had a breakaway of like 10 guys, and we put like 2 minutes into the field. So
nice.
Like those are the
you
things
don't realize there's that much strategy really going on,
teamwork,
right?
man.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream
And
work.
a lot of it is like cycling based tactics.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, kind of moving on, I could talk about strategy
I know.
all day long.
Okay.
But you know, one thing we wanted to kind of ask is like, you know, since you're at this elite level now, like what's like maybe one thing or two things that you kind of attribute to the success that you've gained over the years?
I mean, I think like all the experiences that I've gained like from doing all the individual sports when I was younger, like that's helped so much. Like bike racing, running with teams, swimming with my swim team, like that helped so much that when I was like got to the point where I joined a training group and started racing professionally, I had already trained with people that were so much better than me in those sports because I was training with people that were like single sport focused.
Yep.
So I was always training with people that were so much stronger than me in all three. And then just like, I don't know, I really enjoy going out and training. So I ended up, from when I was pretty young, training a lot compared to what other people my age were doing. And I mean, it's an endurance sport, so training a lot helps.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think like training a lot from when I was young and just working hard have definitely helped a lot.
Absolutely.
Because there's probably a lot of people out there that could be high level, but just don't have the motivation to train 28, 30 hours a week.
But yeah, I mean, when you enjoy it, like
Yeah.
it's not that hard to get out the door and go on the bike.
So having talent, having motivation, and putting in work, I mean, that's a good recipe for success.
That's pretty
Get
good.
people to put the work in with. That
Exactly.
helps a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of give us, well, real quick, since your buddy David's blowing us up.
Is he excited? He's like, did I get a shout out? I didn't miss the beginning.
He first wanted to remember the day, the Forrest Spence 5K in 2012, where he defeated you. He will never forget that day. But basically, run down like your most like one of your most memorable moments you've had since you've been pro, and then like I'd like to know the worst day of your life since you've been pro.
I'd say the most memorable moment would definitely be Edmonton mixed relay. That was awesome. Like, yeah, I was, first of all, just to get selected to be on the mixed relay. I mean, if you're on a mixed relay with Team USA at one of these World Series relays, like, you're a contender for the win. I mean, our women are the best women in triathlon. We have, like, every WTS, we have at least one or two women on the podium.
Yeah.
Like, the women on Team USA are really good. And the women make such a big difference in the relay. That's where the race gets blown apart. So like to be on a relay with Team USA, you're in with a medal shot for sure. And so for me to even get selected for that was a really big surprise. And then immediately after, a lot of nervousness came in because I was like, all right, I can't mess up because there's a lot of people relying on me. So to actually perform on that day. And I mean, everyone, I think, I don't know why, but all the countries decided to put their strongest guy second. So I went second. Like, girl, guy, I was the first guy, second leg.
Okay.
And that's usually like, it usually kind of stays together and everyone puts their weaker guy there. So that's what we did. And then all the other countries decided to put their strongest guy there. So I was standing there.
So the plan was to try to get a gap early for the other countries.
And then, so the women were coming in, and I was standing around. The women were on the run about to tag us off, and like I was standing there with Brownlee, Vincent Louis, like just like the strongest guys in triathlon at the moment. And I was kind
Please tell me you told them bring it on before you left, right?
No, I was just freaking out. I just looked at my friend and shook my head.
You didn't mean mug them?
And then, they were just going full on. I think there was like a 45-second hill right out of transition. And I don't have a power meter, but one of the guys that I was riding with, we were like a group of 6, I think, away. And I managed to swim with them. And then on the bike, Brownlee went to the front on this hill and did like 680 watts for 45 seconds right out of T1. Like, that was just...
Got to be warmed up for that.
Yeah, brutal.
Wow.
And I was like,
so did you
oh.
hang with?
Yeah, I hung with on the swim bike, and then I lost like 15 seconds on the run. But I think I tagged off in 4th or something.
Nice.
So, and then we ended up getting 2nd in the sprint finish between like 5 teams.
Oh wow,
So
that's
it
epic.
was
Yeah,
awesome.
if you have it, like if you can go and watch that replay of that race,
We need to
it's pretty.
We need to find it.
Pretty entertaining for
Yeah,
sure.
you can see the acceleration from Johnny up the hill.
Oh, yeah.
It's like no one sits down for a minute. Everyone's just out of the saddle sprinting.
And you're like, is this going to continue at this pace?
I was like,
certainly
when we
hope
got
not.
to the top of the hill, I was like, if he does this next lap, because it's 2 laps,
Yeah.
he did that on the first lap. And I was like, if he does this in the next lap, no way I'm keeping up.
So worst moment so far as a pro.
Maybe it's because this one is fresh in my mind, but Cape Town World Cup, which was in February, I got like, I don't know, we got norovirus, which is basically this crazy stomach virus.
Yeah.
And somehow it got spread all through Team USA. And some people got it before the race, some people got it, like one girl got it during the race and then had to go to the hospital.
It's not good.
And then some people got it after the race on the flight home. But I got sick like 48 hours before the race and basically couldn't eat anything, couldn't keep anything down. I lost like 6 pounds and I was just super dehydrated. And I don't know, I like started to feel a little bit better, but I still couldn't eat anything. But I
Being that
decided,
depleted for 48 hours.
I
is
just
like,
decided to go for it and race. And I was like getting ready in transition and I was like, could barely stand up. And
really?
I raced, but it was brutal.
It was a
not
bad
fun.
day in the
Yeah,
office,
it
huh?
was just, I felt really out of it the whole time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was not enjoyable.
Fortunately, you made it through.
Yeah.
I made it
That's a
through.
plus.
Well, since we're talking about stomach bugs, it's a good time to lead into nutrition.
I thought you were going to talk about your weekend 2 weekends ago.
No, I'm not
Okay,
going
good.
there, man.
Whew.
But just as an elite athlete, like how much would you say that nutrition on the day to day is important to you, or are you still kind of like eating for sport, where you're what's the
For
Michael
sport?
Phelps diet?
I mean,
You're winning the hot dog eating contest on the
You
side.
got Kobayashi over here part time.
I mean, you look hungry.
You do.
no, like, I mean, I'm only 22, so like, there's definitely still a lot of things, like the small things that go along with professional sport that I'm not doing right. But I've been trying to improve my nutrition quite a bit. And I mean, yeah, it's huge. Like, I find the days where I don't really think about what I'm eating and I just like do whatever I want are the days that I'm in my last workout of the day and like I still have an hour to go and then all of a sudden I'm just like starving or whatever and I'd like really struggling to finish my workout.
Yeah.
But then like if I actually like focus on what I'm eating and like plan my day and make sure that I'm eating enough to get through all my sessions, then I can execute my training a lot better. And so yeah, doing that and just focusing on it a lot more have helped a lot and just like executing day-to-day training.
Do you have like an estimate on like calorie intake, or is it I'm hungry, I eat it?
Yeah,
kind of
I'm
thing?
hungry, I eat it. Like I eat until I'm full. And
Yeah.
then,
My guess is you're not on the Atkins diet.
what's that?
That's the only the high protein, high fat, low carb.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fasting?
Not on those?
No.
No.
I'll do some fasted runs.
Mhm.
Everyone's like, especially at the beginning of the season, I was doing quite a few fasted runs, but like 30 or 40-minute jogs in the morning
Shorter.
before breakfast.
And then while training, is that something you're working on as well? Making sure you're fueling up, especially earlier in the day. You know, first training session. Are you doing a lot of focused nutrition while working out, or is it getting most of it before and after?
Not really, because like, I mean, other than a couple sessions a week, most of my stuff is not super long. Like I'm not like hour and a half in the pool, or like 75 minutes max in the pool usually, and like an hour 20 maximum running.
Yeah, but what are you clearing in 75 minutes in the pool? Is that 5K?
Like the swim I just did just now, I got in, it was exactly 75 minutes because I was kind of in a rush. So I went on like a faster interval, but I got like 6,000 in.
So you're basically
You got
doing
Dale's-
almost double what
Dale's 2 weeks.
the average amateur is doing in one session in 75 minutes. That's my big thing for like, learn to get fast first, because the fast get faster because you can put in a bigger workload in the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Once you gain,
You can do so much in an hour in the pool. Like I never sit on the wall for more than 30 seconds
Yeah.
from when I get in the water.
That's probably another big difference.
I would probably
between the
drown
amateur
if I tried to get 75 minutes in a pool. I would be drowning. Like lifeguards on duty, correct?
Yeah. So, yeah, I got to ask this since you were out on GPAC. Is that something that your coach put on the plan, or are you just going rogue?
No, he had planned for me to do some, because I had like double bike day that day. I've been doing quite a few of those lately. But he had planned for me to do like a trainer workout in the morning with some intervals and then an easy ride in the evening. But I told him about the ride, and I was like, there's this ride I could do. It's like 30, 40 minutes of hard effort. Can I do it, basically? Because I really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
It's so much better than doing efforts in the trainer. And yeah, I got the green light from him, so I'm not going rogue.
Going rogue.
We don't want to get you in trouble, but
I doubt he'll listen to it. So.
Sometimes the group ride can be a really great source of training, or like demolish an entire week.
No, I mean, yeah, I think it was fine. Like, it really felt a lot like an ITU race.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was
a
going to ask.
really
Like,
hard ITU race.
how did that sort of simulate an actual ITU race?
I mean, yeah,
pretty similar?
there's a few different types of an ITU bike race. Like, there's the type where you get a group of 6 or 8 guys away, and it's like a really steady rotating pace line.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the type where it all comes together. Maybe the swim is slow, no one really pushes the swim, and then there's 40 guys together.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of what it felt like really hard, and then like backed off, and then really hard. But like, yeah, I mean,
much more strategic. Yeah, people trying to then get a break. Kind of thing. Not wanting to run it out.
Yeah, no sprint finish though.
No sprint. That's right.
I think you got a KOM on that ride, didn't you?
Yeah, but it was just a KOM for like when you're going up Monterey and turn right on Fisherville, like just the turn. I'm just the person that took the turn
He
the
took
fastest.
the turn the quick. It's because he did not look for traffic.
Yeah.
He was not stopping to look for traffic
so
there.
it's one of those unsafe KOMs.
I'm going to go home and flag it.
All right.
By the way, if you look for Seth on Strava, it says he lives in Toadsuck, Arkansas. Don't be confused. That's the Seth.
Yeah, that's me.
So look for Toadsuck,
Yeah.
Arkansas, which is a place.
It is.
It is
It's not
nice.
far from here, actually.
Not far, and that you can find him.
But I don't actually live there.
No.
All right, so a few little rapid fire questions for you here. So these are just favorite things, okay? So your favorite race,
Montreal.
okay? WTS,
Yeah.
Montreal. Favorite piece of gear.
Ooh.
Nike 4%.
Okay, all right. They as fast as people say they are.
Yeah, they're awesome. I really like them. But I like the last year's model better.
Okay, that's.
So did you buy a bunch of them?
Yeah.
They're like really expensive. Like $300.
Yeah. So your favorite pre-race meal?
If the race is in the morning, oatmeal. If it's in the afternoon, rice.
All right, like straight rice.
Just white rice.
Nothing on it? Salt?
A bit of salt, maybe.
Okay.
Why the oatmeal versus the rice?
I would do rice all the time, but I struggle to eat rice in the morning.
There you go.
So, but sometimes in the morning I'll have rice, especially if I'm in Asia,
Okay.
because they don't have oatmeal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. So favorite post-race meal.
Depends where
You're
I
21
am
now, right?
in the world.
Yeah.
But usually like a burger or something. Actually, my post-race meal that I most enjoyed last year was after the Antwerp World Cup in Belgium. There was like a fry stand, like a frites, Belgian
yeah.
French fries. And I just got like a huge thing of French fries with a bunch of mayo. And that was the most satisfying post-race meal.
There you go. Little starch,
French
little
fries.
fat.
Yeah.
Are they calling them French fries
No,
over in Belgium?
like pommes frites. Or
Yeah, pommes frites.
something like that. That's about as far as I go as far as European
Yeah, that was
culture.
impressive, man.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah. All right, so last little thing here. I know we're kind of taking up a lot of your time, but any words of wisdom you've got? We know you've got years and years in you now, Seth.
Yeah.
Grown man.
Words of wisdom for the competitive athlete. We'll leave it at the competitive level.
Yeah. I'd say just like keep things simple. People often like overcomplicate training and just think way too much about what they're doing. And I think triathlon is an endurance sport. It's pretty simple. Like you just have to get fit and you'll get faster and enjoy it, go out and train. But just put in the time, put in the hours of work, and you'll definitely get stronger.
It rewards those who put in the work.
Yeah.
Awesome. How can people follow you?
Instagram at RethCider. Like if you just switch the first
You're
letter.
keeping things confusing, man.
Yeah.
Just keeping things confusing over here.
And then Facebook at, I don't know. I have 2 Facebooks, I guess. One like athlete page,
And one for
and
trolling.
one for just
Oh.
like my normal Facebook page.
One for talking politics, and the other for sports related stuff.
And then Strava. Also, I post quite a bit on Strava. My bike and runs automatically upload, and then
Oh, excellent.
I try to like add photos when I can.
So when are you
Love
going to get
food
on
pics.
power?
I've had a power meter before. I had it sitting in my room, but I don't know. I just don't really like it.
Don't like
Like
So much more off feel or heart rate, or
just feel. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't train with heart rate or power or anything. Just
does your coach go mad?
no.
That's cool.
Pretty much everyone he coaches is
Bro,
like
he
that.
probably likes it.
Yeah.
Like
Less-
a lot
less
of
data.
that kind of volume.
it's
too,
pretty
though.
easy
It's
when
like-
you're with the group, because like most of our bike sessions will be like, all right, you're doing hill reps here
Okay.
with everyone, or like you're doing a paceline effort here with everyone.
Yeah, it actually sees you.
Yeah.
Hit. You know, do the workout.
Yeah, he'll like
Can see
watch
your
you
face.
and tell you to go like slow down or speed up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He doesn't have to like ask, well, how many watts was that one?
Yeah.
And then running will go by pace, and then swimming is the easiest because it's pretty controlled. I mean, you can control
Yeah.
it. It's just
Yeah.
with the pace clock. Yeah.
Awesome. Man, we appreciate you coming in, taking time on
Yeah, thanks
your
for having me.
busy training schedule.
No, today is
while you're
my-
in town.
Chillest day of the week, so
Perfect.
not too much going on.
Awesome.
Time for a great post-recovery meal. You know?
Yeah.
Nutritious meal.
Nutritious
Is
meal.
that-
I still got to run this
We
afternoon.
are
so
going
that'll be
to
fun.
Jason's Deli to get salads.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Not the case.
Wink, wink.
That's a lie. All right. Well, we
Seth, we
appreciate you
appreciate it, man.
guys.
Yeah, thanks guys.
And good luck on the rest of the season. If you guys
Yeah.
have questions later, just post them on Facebook. We'll try to get them to Seth.
Yeah, I
to,
can like go through the comments and respond to.
It's all David. Don't worry about it.
Just don't text me.
All right, guys.
we got?
Appreciate you, everyone hanging out, listening. We appreciate Seth's time. We'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.
Adios.